You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on!
This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome back to Words, Music, Dance. I'm your host, as always, Paulie the Bull, no relation to Gravano. This is episode 51. Before we get started, I just want to say condolences and rest in peace to the 2021 Vision family. Keon, Joaquin, the man behind the camera, a couple times. Lost his brother this week, and our prayers and everything go out to you. Family first. We here for you, brother. You know what I mean? Just want to give a moment of silence to him before we even get started or anything else. So, Today I'm joined by my sisters, so, family first. The first episode after the 50th celebration. Got my sisters here with me. Got Tanae and Crystal back. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, and you guys did not send me a video for the 50th episode. I'm dry snitching. But anything y'all want to say about the celebration?
Krista, you could go first.
Well, I gotta go first. So this has been your thing, and to be a part of it has just been, a real honor to now see it in fruition, be on it. You've been talking about this since before I really liked you, and it's good to see. Like, I love to see us winning. I love to see family winning. I love to see family moving forward and progressing and doing. And so I'm ready for the next thing. Now that we got this on lock, what we doing next?
So we got some things coming. You got some things coming. I got some things in the work. We all plotting and planning. Naya, what's on your mind?
So I just want to say, first and foremost, congratulations to my little big brother. To know him is to know he is a talker and he won't shut up. And so I'm happy he has another outlet to talk, because we get into our back and forths and our conspiracy theories, and sometimes it only feels one-sided, because although we have those moments where we do disagree, there's so much we do agree on. So I'm happy that he now has an outlet where there are people that will disagree with him, but yet he still stands his ground as well as they stand theirs. This platform in itself just speaks volumes to who Paul, Uncle Bubba, Wolverine, Paulie the Bull, however you know him, who he is. It's just beautiful to see this happening and to know that he's doing big things. So as, his sister, I just want to say congratulations on not just the 50, but even taking the leap and jumping.
Yeah. I did that.
Never mind. We cancel all of that.
Nah. That's real. That's real. Let me just You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. But yeah, you know, as always, the conversation continues. You know, 50 was just 50. Now we on 51. But everybody that's watching, of course, we're gonna give our opinion on certain things. So feel free to comment, like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, still like it. That's how it works. Hit the button. Subscribe and share. Do all that good stuff. You know. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. Everybody listening on their mobile devices. You are appreciated. All right. So let's get into the news. So we got what's her name? Jordyn Woods with a Y, and Tristan Thompson with a wife.
They're not married.
Well, wifey, baby mama, a Kardashian, and this is not the first time Tristan got caught on camera being a little extra with some other females that wasn't his girl. And just so happened that Jordyn is a family friend of what's her name? Kylie? It's Kylie's friend? It's Kylie's friend.
The news today, sorry, it was on the news today. She is now the what is she? She's a self-made billionaire.
Billionaire? The youngest billionaire, self-made billionaire, something like that.
Okay.
Salute to Kylie for that. You know.
Okay.
Made when you already got a platform.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Right. Sorry.
Her friend, childhood friend, they grew up together. Jordyn Woods was slipping and dipping with her sister's mans and them, and Jordyn, to speak her mind, was on the Jada Pinkett Smith Red Table Talk.
Mm-hmm.
She cool with the Smiths because they all grew up in the Calabasas, Beverly Hills, Cali area. So, you know what I mean, the Jackson kids and the Smiths and the Kardashians and the O.J. Simpson's kids and the, you know what I mean, all the celebrity kids, they all know each other. But Will and Jada is what, Jordyn's godparents, something like that? So they stepped in and they said,
her father used to do something on the Fresh Prince, so.
Yeah, right, her father who passed away.
I think he was a cameraman or something like that. Yeah.
But, you know, Uncle Will, you know, Big Willie's called up and Jada was like, come here, baby. You know, I want to know first off, before we get to them get to them, what do y'all think about Tristan and him constantly nailed to face? What do y'all feel about Tristan and him not being or being aware of cameras? The man's like 6'10", 2 and change. I don't know if he thinks he's invisible. He at the popping spots, you know, and he's known and he keep getting caught. What do y'all think about him? Man, you got the face, so talk to me.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say this.
Okay.
As we sit here today having this conversation, I guess I can be considered what is now known a grown woman.
Go ahead.
It's an entirety. And there's levels to this whole situation.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to start with Tristan, that's fine. We can start with him.
Yeah,
I'm not sure of his age, but I think he's somewhere in his 20s, late 20s or something to that effect. And not to say that's an excuse. However, we've all had our, you know, situations in our 20s.
He's 27.
I will say that at what point do you learn that it's inappropriate to run up in stuff raw and keep popping out babies? Okay? I mean, it's not a oopsie, because when he got with Chloe,
Mm-hmm.
there was a baby on the way somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And a great friend of mine who I love dearly, close to my heart, she is my sister, had once said to me, Crystal Johnson, well, it has been my experience and from what I've seen in my lifetime that how you get him is how you lose him.
Listen, ain't nothing
Okay.
more than that.
Now, mind you, I say this to say this is a conversation that Crystal and I had maybe in our 20s, late 20s, early 30s, on multiple facets. No need to go into any details, anything like that. But if no truer words have ever been spoken, how you get him is how you lose him. And every day things have been popping up. So if we're gonna start with Tristan, let me stay on Tristan. At this point, he needs to stop. Go be single for real, for real. Don't be connected to nobody. Go play basketball. Go be a playboy. Take care of your children, and that be that. Okay? Because in this new millennium, as they say, people is out here telling you exactly what they want. So if they just want a one-nighter, or if they just want to, kick it, how they say, whatever, then let's be true to that. Okay? Let's stop getting in these pseudo relationships, but yes, going out and Tristing. Okay?
I see what you, okay.
Okay? I mean, that's him. I'm not going to say he's a full-on horrible person, because that's not fair to him. I don't know the man. But his antics and his activities, he's not acting very manly, because as a man, you need to stand up. Look, I'm not trying to be in a relationship. I'm not trying to have a baby. I'm not trying to do all that. You're not saying that to these people.
Maybe because he still wants
and
to
be. No, you got a contract. You a ball player. You in the lifestyle. So yes, there's a check involved for you. Now, Chloe, there wasn't a check. Chloe wanted a baby. We knew that. She wanted a baby since Lamar.
Well, we'll come back to Chloe. Crystal, what's your thoughts?
I'm just putting that out there. We could put a pin in that, but let's keep that in mind.
All right, Crystal.
There's some ulterior motive there.
Crystal, what's your thoughts on Tristan?
I don't think Tristan's being anything but Tristan. I don't understand why we're expecting him to be a man. Because he got 2 babies?
No.
He been doing this for quite some time, and he don't care. And first of all, the Jordyn thing was at his house. So for me, it was kind of like I'm in my house. So, what more do you want? Like, I'm keeping it indoors. It's in my door. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like
no. You mentioned a very important fact. In his house. If they together, why he got his own house?
Listen, from my understanding, I don't
new house. New house.
At this juncture, the Jordyn juncture, I thought they weren't together. I wasn't seeing pictures of him plastered all over her Instagram. I wasn't seeing photos of them together. So I thought that they were over.
Okay.
Does that excuse Jordyn?
No.
Me, we all know he a hoe, so it ain't no fun if the homies can't. Okay. Listen.
That's where we going with this, huh?
That's where we going. He's outwardly a hoe. Like, you cheat pregnant girl with this new girl. You get this new girl pregnant. You cheat on her. Now he a hoe.
He community. He's community.
House husbands.
He's community.
Follow the loyalty. And he should have had never. He a hoe.
All right, hold on, because y'all. So since y'all already went there a little bit, what about Chloe in this situation, knowing that she took him when he was with someone else that he had pregnant, and the last time he cheated, she took him back. This time she's saying we family. You wrong. What are y'all thoughts on her? Crystal, take it first.
Chloe has a history, unfortunately, of taking people's mans, and that stuff don't turn out right. So Tristan is just French, Trey, Lamar. He's 4th that we know. I mean, that I'm going back that far. I'm not really trying to get into all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But she played herself. Here's the thing: if you would have just said, "I really just wanted your sperm," I'm gonna trout you out though. We're gonna play this family for a hot second until I had this baby. then you gonna do something and I'm gonna dump you. And then thanks for playing. That I could get with. But now you attacking people and oh, woe is me. You grown and you grown. Like, you're not grown, but you grown. You know what I'm saying? You got some coinage in your pocket. You're not hurting really. For little Tristan's little pocket change. You got money. So why we acting like this is a some sort of sin against this? Girl, bye. And then you try to play poor Jordyn. She a liar. She a liar. You a liar. Okay? You a liar. You lied this entire time like you in love with him. You wanted the sperm. Say that. You got played and you don't want to be out in these streets looking crazy. Too late. So to keep going. And then your old ass friends tagging along. These 40, almost 40, 45 ass women on this poor little 21-year-old girl.
Right.
Yeah, she lying too. First of all, ain't one of you Scottie Pippen's wife?
Yes, Laura Pippen, who was tripping with Future.
Ain't the other one the twin with the bad movies that always do all the bad movies on BET?
The single one who can't get a man and keep him.
So
which man was tripping? She was tiptoeing with somebody's husband.
So you in the get along gang.
All right.
Move it along. Friend shaming right now. What are they supposed to do? Like, they supposed to have her back.
Shut up.
They supposed to have her back in private, not against a 20. First of all, y'all 40. Y'all doing stuff at 40 that you think you would be doing at 21, thinking that shit is cute.
If they really her friends, they should take her phone.
Well, you gotta remember that they are social media. Like, they live their life in the camera. They are all about that. So that's
I get that. I understand that completely. But what better way to show true womanhood and growth and stand up in this whole dichotomy of women empowerment than not saying anything against Jordyn, regardless if you want to punch that little girl through the wall, not saying anything negative against her, making your statements about Tristan and your family and this and that and the third, and then leaving it alone and going dark. Telling your friends to step down and mind their damn business. Right now, what they're doing is perpetuating this ridiculous cycle of bullying and shaming online. So why would this is an opportunity for them to change that narrative. Make it different. Your sister's always talking about, I'm always being bullied online and they're always talking negative about me, and you're going to turn around and do the same thing. So how are you any different than the people that said something about your sister? Because they broke? That's the difference. You feel what I'm saying? This was an opportunity not only for Kylie for Chloe to show her adultness and shut it down and leave it alone, because the media was on it. I don't think Jordyn got in her house good before the media had posted something and was ready to talk about it.
The Kardashians, the media is always 5 feet away from them.
I understand. But truth be told, there was a point where Chloe could have Beyonce the fuck out of it and shut up.
I think you expected too much of her. And
I'm just saying it didn't necessarily have to be on that level, but you a woman of a certain age at this point. Some things you can't do like the kids do anymore. You can't do it. Okay? And I say that to say, like Crystal said, she has a history of her own that at this point, and I agree with the general consensus. At this point, karma is catching up on you. And karma said, let me serve you up a little plate right real fast. Okay? But that doesn't mean you dig deeper and attack this young girl. Okay? Am I shooting Jordyn some bail? I am. Was she wrong? She was. However, at 20-something, these are the types of things that 20-somethings do. Okay? I'm gonna say I believe Jordyn. I believe her. The way she laid the night out for at the Red Table Talk, it don't sound like anything different that we've done. You go to dinner with the homies, y'all hit up a club, the club ends, y'all go to somebody's house, whoever's house it is, you find out it's Tristan's house. Well, shit, Tristan's like family. Okay, no big deal. So I go and I kick it over there with them. Okay? I'm kicking it with him. We're hanging out. Yeah, I did put my legs on his, but no big deal.
No
Okay?
big deal?
That's something light. I think
on your friend's sister's man.
My friend's sister's cousin's uncle's man. Like, come on.
I'm just saying. I mean, so we off close now. We on to Jordyn. You believe her? Chrissy,
I believe her.
Chrissy, you believe her too?
I believe.
I just said not.
I believe that there may be something that she slightly, I feel like there's a little holdback on something. I don't know if it's deep as the kiss. I don't know. But there's something else in the story. Not to say that I don't believe the sincerity of her telling the story, that she is sincerely sorry, and that maybe she's, hindsight being what it was, maybe she should have just left. You know what I mean? Like, duh. But I think that maybe like one or two things that are still out there.
I agree. But the whole he gave her a peck, I believe it because I've been in a similar situation. Only difference was I was a little bit older. And when old dude tried to make the move, I did. Like, oh, what you doing? I turned into the Matrix on him. You feel what I'm saying? And then I went and called homegirl and was like, yo, let me tell you what the hell just happened. And even I was in my 30s when it happened. Even when it happened, I was like, I was fucked up on the inside. Cause I'm like, what just happened? Like, this can't be life. Like, yo. And it wasn't that she was really into him. She wasn't into him that deep. You feel what I'm saying? But he technically was trying to love on the crew. I know they got it in. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not fucking with you. You fucking with my people. I don't do that. You mess with my people, I don't do that. You feel what I'm saying? But I felt some kind of way because I'm like, how do I deliver this message to her? So when she said initially she held back, I get it. Because at 21, 22, you thinking, I'm going to hurt my friend if I tell them this. They may not believe me. What kind of situation is that going to put us in? You feel what I'm saying? But then you also thinking, I'm going to hurt my friend to let her know that he did this. What do? I don't think the backlash of it had nothing to do with Tristan or protecting herself. I really, truly believe she was conflicted. So she thought, I'm going to call him and tell him, yeah, there was a party and I was there. Maybe that'll be enough to satisfy the fact that I was there and I'm letting them know that I was there. But, media added that extra sauce to it. So now she got to kind of tell what happened because she don't know how much he going to tell or how much this one's going to tell or who going to say what. Now I have to tell you what happened. But before y'all even listen to me, you already cut ties. You didn't even give her a chance. How do you call me family and friend or whatever, and you just...
That's the part that killed me. She was like, how could you not tell me this in private? Bitch, you the one on Twitter too.
Right.
Wanted your apology in private. How about ask me for one in private?
I think y'all expect too much of the Kardashians. That's what I'm...
I don't. No, I don't. I'm using like real people logic on this, but I don't.
Right.
We're real people, so we're talking real people logic.
Right.
And that's why we can't, because it's the Kardashians. They do their own things. The expectations. You look at moms. Look at Chris, the matriarch of the family. You know what I mean? She was at OJ's trial, sitting next to Bruce, while her ex-husband, baby daddy was defending OJ on the other side. Like they ain't nothing off limits to them. The cameras are always following. That's nothing new. Them teaming up, It's what they do. They stick together. They teamed up against the brother. You know what I mean? When Rob go through some stuff, all the girls jumped him. So it's like,
I'm just happy that the Smiths stepped in and kind of rallied around her.
so as you were saying, the Smith family stepped in, possibly because they know how the Kardashians rock, and they feel okay, she gonna need a little bit of support. So now we got the Kardashians versus Smiths, which is a powerful family. You know what I mean? That's some good people to have on your back. So
And respect it.
and respect,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
which is,
One part.
yeah. So I mean, Jada, I mean, they handled it. It was an interview for the most part. It was a red table talk situation, but they did allow her to get her point of view out, which wouldn't have happened anywhere else because TMZ and the Kardashians are bedfellows, and anybody else that would talk about it, I mean, they're gonna ride with the Kardashians. So it was good for her to have a platform to get her story out. And like you guys said, you do feel it. Where do we think it goes from here? I mean, at this point, Chloe's saying, Tristan, you stuck. You stand with me. She's wrong. You still my man. Jordyn got her point of view out, but where does it go from here?
I think Chloe was ultimately wrong by outright saying that Jordyn is the reason her family broke up. No, she's not. When the man just cheated less than 6 months ago with a bartender, a star tender in New York, and got video of him rubbing up on 2-3 chicks at a bar or a club in Vegas, and all while you were pregnant. So how is Jordyn the reason that your family has broken up? No. How dare you? You have some nerve putting that kind of weight on this girl. Like, so you're not going to go after those other girls and call them home wreckers, knowing full well that everybody knows about your relationship because it's all in the media. But you're going to go after Jordyn and put that weight on her? Oh, nah, we got problems. Now we got real problems.
Crystal,
we got some real problems. You tripping the long way right now. So all that other stuff she was saying, she was fine. But when you outright came out and said, Jordyn broke up my family, no, she didn't. No, she didn't.
We got
You broke up your damn family with your needy ass.
All right. Crystal. And she said, I talk too much. I didn't want to put that on the record. She said, I talk too much.
He was like,
saying the same thing. Like, we got you. Crystal, what do you think? Where do we go from here? Where do they go from here?
I don't know where they go from here. I really do hope that Jordyn I hope that this is something that next time she finds herself in any type of situation, she rethinks it, because it's very hard it's very hard in this day and age anyway to be a 20-something and trying to figure your way out. It's also hard to then be the sorry sidekick of a very famous person, and you know what I mean? And so to have your experiences and your mistakes exposed on such a level, it's really hard. And death threats, people on social media are stupid and crazy.
Yes.
Because I don't understand how you death threaten somebody you ain't never seen, you don't even know, you got half the story, but you want to see threats. But in terms of Kristen, what's the boy's name? Tristan. Chloe, I could give a good goddamn what happens to them. They grown, they stupid, they gonna live in that. He trying to get out. He's get out. He MOT, like, I trying to get out. Now. Like, he's trying to get out. Like, if a person continuously does the same actions over and over again, and there are no consequences, then he's just gonna keep doing it. So
Right.
did it the first time. There were no consequences. She went ahead and had the baby. They went ahead and did this whole big we as family thing. And guess what? He did it again. And guess what? There were no consequences for him. It's Jordyn, 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 not you, boo. It's Jordyn, Jordyn, Jordyn. So guess what he gonna do in the next there about to be another baby. Ain't gonna be hers. How about that?
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
because
you-
let's say for argument's sake, he didn't sleep with Jordyn that night. Who's to say he didn't sleep with somebody though?
Oh, of course. He in his house.
Right.
Dude, she ain't there.
Well,
And that big chunky baby all over Instagram. Cute baby. But enough, okay? We get it. You had a child. Okay, boo.
so transition, because I'm done with them. So speaking of things going on in the house, this past weekend, HBO premiered their,
Did you really say speaking of things going on in the house?
listen, man, transitions, baby, transitions.
That is a terrible transition.
Be a journalist out here, you gotta connect the dots. You know, people heard me taught me how to connect the dots. Okay, bad example. Connect the dots.
Yes.
Yeah, but Leaving Neverland premiered this past weekend on HBO.
Oh, God.
And it was featuring two gentlemen who previously either said nothing happened with them and Michael or said nothing at all, and now in their adult situation they decided to come forward and say their truth. We've all watched it. You guys watched both parts.
Yes.
And the Oprah, did y'all see the Oprah post-game interview?
Yes.
Did you call it a post-game interview?
I mean, cause that's what it was. You know, Oprah was seeing what she was doing. You know, we just won a championship. You know, what are you going to do now? I'm going to Disney World. You know, it was extra. So the audience was filled with people who, you know, have had childhood molestation situations, and so it was. You know, what do you expect to happen? They're going to clap. They're going to call for it. You know, even the documentary itself was very one-sided, which documentaries are known to be. But there was, you know, no information from, you know, the Jackson family, nothing from accounts of stories that have been released by them. They mentioned Macaulay Culkin as others. None of them were part of the story, or even, you know, none of their testimony was even shown what they said happened. So this was he did it, and this is us saying, you know, what he did. So starting back off again, do we believe them? Who want to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Get it out the way.
You believe?
I don't know if it's about me believing or not.
Okay.
That was the point for me watching it. It felt so disassociative. It was almost like a tale of two things where I'm kind of telling you this story, kind of telling you what's happening to me, but I don't feel connected to it. And I felt the real, now here's my word, this juxtaposition with this person that in the 80s and the 90s, who was bigger than Michael Jackson? The answer is no one. Who is bigger than Michael Jackson now? Answer is still no one. So there is this your Michael, who is bad, who is Thriller, who is off the wall. But then there's this other Michael that you wouldn't know unless you were in that situation. And I felt like the whole 4 hours was really deep because it still wasn't, I am better now. And I'm telling, this is still like, I'm still even kind of working through what all happened. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the R. Kelly thing where he did this and now it's over and, you know, some people are good. And it was very much so, even when he did the whole thing, he sat there and he was like, I felt guilty even coming. Like he still hadn't fully worked through everything. And that's what happens when something like this happens at such a young age. This is not 14, 15, 16, 17. This is 7 and this is 10. And if you could remember what you were like at 7 and 10, and they say that when traumatic events happen, internally the aging stops. So you are still that age inside, even though you grow and you get taller or whatever, and you go through the motions, the societary motions of life. Here, you're still whatever age that is until you've worked through the trauma. So if you've never worked through the trauma, you're still 7. You're 10. So, you know, it was real, to me, it was real, I don't want to use the word powerful because it wasn't, but it stayed with me well after, still, even today, you know, and I don't think that people fully understand sometimes that when sexual abuse is not always angry, it's not always a brutal rape. Sometimes it's very, very subtle, and you just don't know. I am a survivor of sexual assault at a young age, and it's something that stays with you. It wasn't an angry assault. It wasn't gritty, or it wasn't. And so that's a whole different, you know, when it's angry and it happens, you can be angry and then you can feel, but when it's not and you barely even know that it's happening,
Right.
You don't feel like it's abuse. What are you talking about? Which is the part that I got from watching them. It wasn't abuse to them. This was the relationship. And, you know, who doesn't want to be in a relationship with Michael Jackson? Point blank, period. From the kids to the parents to who does not want to be in a relationship with any kind of relationship with Michael Jackson? Where he personally knows you. This was a person that was bigger than anything ever. And like the man said, he liked you. What? Could you imagine? It was heartbreaking. I mean, the aftermaths, you know, watching the mothers when they finally realized and they finally got it, and how everyone was like, how you didn't know and how you didn't know. And I don't even, you know, you're not even allowed in my house. You can't even. You, as a mother? What?
Yeah. Yeah, that was sad.
I don't get me wrong. There is blame to be placed. You know, you just want to kind of throw it in the air, and whoever it hits, you know, you don't necessarily want to, because how can you blame a mother for thinking that, you know, she was the bed stuff? Okay, well, maybe, okay. But the other things in terms of moving to better the you know, the children's move forward, or X, Y, and Z, and then after all of that time to have known that this was going on. And that's the other thing, you don't tell. I don't understand what people don't understand about that. Oh, if something happened, my children would tell me. They would not.
No, they wouldn't.
Because they don't even know something bad is happening. So what are they telling you? So I felt bad. It do I believe them? Yes, I do. I believe them. And I understand that people have issues with this because he was never convicted. I feel like we're having an R. Kelly conversation all over again. He was never convicted. I don't understand what a conviction has to necessarily do with the truth.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people, there's a lot of people who were convicted who didn't do it, and there's a lot of people who weren't convicted that really did do it. So a conviction doesn't necessarily mean that it's not true. It means there's not enough evidence to prove that this happened. Doesn't mean that it didn't. It means that a court they want something. And the testimonies and going on the stand and saying no, he never, and being adamant, and even being adamant up until a certain point when you're in your 30s that this didn't happen, that goes to show you exactly how deep the manipulation went.
Yeah.
Because when you start a child at seven, and you keep telling them the same things over and over and over again, are a secret. If something happens, something bad is going to happen to me if you tell something to a 7-year-old and you keep telling them until they're 14, that's what it is. There's nothing, there wouldn't have been anything anyone would have been able to say that would made him finally tell the truth, whether he knew it or not. He wasn't going to say anything. They were both going to take it to the grave. 7 and 10. You know who's God to you at 7? Santa Claus. Santa Claus, Michael Jackson, maybe G.I. Joe, some Transformers, but you know they ain't real.
They're not real.
Transformers ain't real, boo. I know. Okay, I'm gonna take over the show now because you destroyed. I know. I know.
His whole world.
If you going, I'm eating a chip. It's just one of those things. I felt bad. And then this whole Oprah thing and how everybody, why don't we stop talking about Oprah? Would we be mad if it was somebody else who did the hosting, or are we just mad as Oprah? Like, I don't understand.
I think, me personally, I was mad that it was Oprah because her involvement with a lot of things that it just the convenience of it being Oprah.
Involvement in what? She's a sexual assault survivor.
Yeah, for sure. It's just she doesn't typically do this. She hasn't really, like, her show been over. She has the channel and stuff. It's just her. It's just something that sticks out with her choosing to do that.
Maybe that was the point.
The post movie interview, but what is the point? Is the
Maybe that was the point. That is attached to it. Somebody gonna watch. Somebody gonna say something.
But people were gonna watch anyway because Michael's name was attached to it. So that's what I'm saying. Her involvement. What was the point of? I need to do this. I got to be involved in this somehow, some way. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe it's part of her healing. Maybe it's also part of her healing. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe that's what it is. I don't know. She didn't say that. So unless she says it, we don't know. I'm just saying that her, as big as she is, and she interviewed Michael years ago. She has stood by his side and everything, as well as other accused individuals, Harvey Weinstein and others involved. So, there's just the circle of people that it just sticks out. Who else could have been it? I don't know. Did they need to do that after show thing? No, they didn't need to do that. But for her to say, I have to be on here and do this, I need to be involved in it somehow, some way, it just sticks out. Why? How? I don't know. It's a human nature. It's a human emotion. Like, just the antenna goes up. You know what I mean? That's how
I think for me, the conflict is that it's Michael Jackson, right? And fully wrapping myself around the fact that of the possibility that he did it. The problem that I had, I don't know if problem, but it made me uncomfortable watching the Oprah portion of the interview because it didn't seem neutral, right? And so, Crystal, you saying maybe it's a part of her healing, that makes sense too, because maybe it might have activated some stuff from her trauma or whatever. So that makes sense. But it just didn't seem neutral, and it didn't seem that, to me, it didn't seem like it was just about those two guys telling their story. It almost felt like they were telling their story, and then bottom line, Wade made me feel uncomfortable as well, because he seemed too prepared. And he was very focused on saying the right words. And I was paying attention to not only what was being said, but how it was being said. And how everything that was being said was very much so the language you learn after you discover that something traumatic happened to you, right? And I'm conscious of using said language. And what I mean by that is when he was saying, you know, this is what was fed to me. This is what, you know, not this is what I was taught to believe, or this is, you know, this was a part of our bond. It's almost like, I guess, to deal with the fact that you had something bad done to you, you have to point the fingers in that direction. And I don't know, it just felt like it was very deliberate. At the same time, the other gentleman, he clearly is still working through whatever it is he's working through. Like, his level and depth of trauma, it's really two different versions. You know,
He was
really,
crying as soon as the show started.
but you can really tell that deep down in the pits of who he is, he was in whatever the relationship was. You feel what I'm saying? And even to use the same language that Wade was using, he couldn't do it because it didn't feel natural to him. He still, I think to this day, has a love for Michael. And because he has that love for him, he still hasn't fully wrapped himself around, you know, what happened to him as a traumatically as a child. I'm just dealing with the fact that it's Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And on the other end of it, you know, it's just so much right now, because it feels like our Black leaders, our, you know, Black statues and pillars right now are all being torn down and ripped down in front of our eyes, right? And I say that to say, we're not getting play-by-play on Harvey Weinstein's situation. We're not getting play-by-play on Matt Lauer with the button locking people in the door, and in order to get out of this room, you got to do something strange. We're not getting, you know, full on, but for Bill Cosby, we want to put him on trial, and we watching his trial every day. For R. Kelly, you know, we got to watch his trial, and we're watching him be paraded in and out of the police station, all this stuff. And for Michael Jackson, you know, we have to now, he's not even here to defend himself, but how bad are they going to try to destroy what is now known as his legacy? Everybody has known Michael Jackson has had issues himself from childhood, but nobody has done anything about that. And yet you choose to strike him down because of this. Well, what about when he was going through? Who was there for him? But we don't get to protect him or talk about that because he was a grown man and he took advantage of other little kids. But we don't get his backstory, right? We dig all the way deep into R. Kelly's backstory and find out he was molested by his sister, okay? We don't get Michael's backstory. But yet they're going to destroy Michael Jackson right now. Like, this is the goal, the mission. And why do I say this? Wade Robinson made a point to say that this is his mission. And just the documentary, and then Oprah backing it up. And I don't think maybe she was the right person to do it, specifically because of where she's coming from, having to be a survivor of traumatic. Because if you're a journalist, you have to have a certain level of neutrality. And she didn't exercise any of it. Neither did she say herself that she's switching positions because she had such a love for him. If you watch the interview that she did with him the first time, she made him feel like she was on his side and she was with him and she had his back and she was supporting him. But then you watch this interview that happened last night, and I'm happy he's dead. Wow.
That's what Oprah said?
No, the mom said that. Not Wade, what's the other dude? Sweet Chuck or
Safe Chuck.
Safe Chuck. His mama said that. His mom said that she was happy and she did a little dance when she heard that he had passed away.
Right.
Yeah. But I do agree. Oprah, she didn't address her stance or her point of view. Like, Wade testified against Michael.
Right.
He wasn't ready at the time, and it wasn't until he had epiphany having a son. So he gave you his turn, and he explained, because a lot of people are going to say, well, you did a civil suit against thrown out, but he said that was because that was the legal proper thing to do. Right. So he explained his point of view. He explained his stance. He explained his motives and movements. Oprah, as the host, who, like I said, has involvement, she didn't say her turn. She didn't change, and she doesn't owe it to us because she was the host of the event. However, when, like you said, you are Oprah and you have a history of traumatic experience which you can speak to, you also have a history of being at the Neverland Ranch and interviewing Michael and befriending him and riding his rides at his house and things like that. So,
and talking about this first case, like she was there to talk about that first case.
When Michael didn't do interviews with anyone, he, for whatever reason, trusted her, or the label or whoever said that Oprah's going to be involved in interviewing, getting your side of the story. So that's why I say her being the bookend of sorts to this story is just interesting and not alarming. I won't say it's alarming, but it's just like, you know what I mean? But I mean, all in all, the man is no longer here. He can't defend himself. We will never know what actually happened because, like you said, Crystal, unlike R. Kelly, there's no tapes. Does that make a difference? In the court of public opinion, everyone's going to have their opinion no matter what.
Right.
And in a situation, Wade, for example, testified against, he testified saying nothing ever happened, as well as others. And to this day, there are, Macaulay Culkin, was it Corey Feldman or Corey Haim?
One of them.
Yeah,
the surviving Corey. That's all.
Corey. He still stands by Michael and says, he named a lot of names in Hollywood and said they all did some things and touched me and stuff. He said he felt safest at Michael's house. And again, that's his point of view, his perspective. Maybe he wasn't Michael's type, but we don't know. Maybe nothing did happen, or maybe he's defending Michael the way Wade felt back then. We will never know the truth. We only heard their truth now, and it's just it's like you said, it being Michael, it's hard to watch because unlike Michael, unlike R. Kelly, I should say, we like Michael. Everyone liked Michael. This was the one real blemish on his career. I mean, he had the highest selling album of all time. He going down as the greatest entertainer and such and such. So to hear this even years later, because this is not new, but to bring the story up now 10 years after his demise, it's just It's like, damn, we gotta live this again, you know. But they live, you know, there are victims that live this every day. You know what I mean? So even if these gentlemen fabricated this story, there are people that know that story and agree with that story. And if the point was to bring awareness to, you know, the sexual abuse, pedophilia to children and stuff, I think that should have been more of a focus. I thought that's what the Oprah post thing was gonna go to. They kind of did, but it didn't really, because even the director, he's been the director of the documentary has been touring, and he's saying the same thing. It's not about Michael; it's about them two gentlemen. But it's like the story is Michael. It's a timeline of Michael, so you can't not say it's not about Michael. You know what I mean? The show's called Leaving Neverland. You know what I mean? So you can't say it's not about Michael. It's about Michael. And if they would have called it, you know, something else not involving Neverland or whatever, but this again goes back, like you said, promotion of it. How do you get people to watch? So if they focused on that, or if they did like the R. Kelly joint did, where the third part was about, you know, the numbers to call, the hotlines, the signs, what to look out for. We focusing on Me Too and what else is going on and how to, you know, if they did that, then it would have seemed more like this is for awareness, for, you know, to help someone save a life, get some, you know, such and such like that. I think that was kind of missing in this. Or am I wrong? Do y'all feel that same way, or did y'all get that out of it?
I did. I mean, I guess, you know, you could say the same line and all of us will hear something different. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to things like this, or the R. Kelly thing, we were all in like unanimous agreement.
We saw the tapes.
It's like
we saw the tapes.
But I feel like, again, there's no taking away from his talent, accomplished, what, you know, the impact musically that he's had on just about everyone's life. Everyone has a favorite Michael Jackson song. I don't care what's going on. Everybody has 1 to 5 favorite Jackson songs.
Yeah.
I do think though that, and I kind of get it. I understand that we're going to say this is about Michael Jackson because it's about Michael Jackson. But it's not about your Michael Jackson. It's about the man we did not know.
Yeah.
We did not know this person. That's why it's so unconscionable for some people. Absolutely not. But the fact of the matter is, you don't know what is going on behind closed doors. You don't know.
Same way it could be it could be someone in the family. It could be that uncle.
You just don't. Right, you just don't know. You cannot say with absolution, and at least this is my opinion, no one can ever say with absolution, absolutely not, this did not happen, unless you were in the room.
Right.
Not in the room. You cannot say that these people's stories, and I'm not talking just about Wade or the other guy, who the other guy, I just pray for him at this point, because oh my gosh.
Like he should be on suicidal watch. I'm a
like
he's
for real. With the rings and the marriage, you still got the box with the child. I just was like, stop it. If you're not, you cannot tell someone else, I don't believe your truth, because
right.
You weren't there. And this is not this is not the Michael you know. This is not the R. Kelly you don't know this person. You do not know this person. And I wish that sometimes people would kind of remove that emotional attachment to the music.
Right.
And kind of look at the person. Remember this who everyone said was very childlike. You know, he was a grown man in a 9-year-old in a grown man's body, blah, blah, blah. You know, his shammy marriages, you know, come on, this is not news. The Priscilla Presley marriage, everyone was like, what in the hell? When they kissed on MTV, we were all like, ew, because it did not look genuine.
Mm-mm.
Let me ask you guys, do you think we are going to get a Harvey Weinstein, Matt Lauer, list goes on documentary?
No, but I would want one.
Yeah. Well, I think when you start to deal in and then different tax brackets,
Elvis, Jerry
Yeah.
Lewis.
Yes.
The list goes on and on and on. For men that are also no longer here, and it could be too that their victims are not willing to speak out. You know what I mean? It just happened that these two gentlemen decided to talk. But Harvey, there's a lot of women that brought accusations to the forefront, and there is a trial that is about to begin, or has it begun?
I don't know, because I'm not getting play-by-play like I got for everything else.
Right. So I'm just interested to see if that's gonna ever come to fruition. Because these documentaries, again, they appeal more to the court of public opinion.
Well, my thing about it is that you're saying that not everyone spoke out, but there were allegations against Michael Jackson, so somebody did speak out, or was it no?
Agreed. They didn't bring them into this, documentary as well. But no, there were other accusations. It was just that the stories were shaky. That's what the issue was with those, because there was a lot more of. Because I remember there was one where the parents were coaching the child and say this, and those didn't really stick. And that's the issue with, even if they were telling the truth, you can't force the truth. You know what I mean? So it was just those situations, but we got.
I want to say this. Not discounting the experiences that the abused or the victims have gone through, because I think at the end of the day, throughout it all, that's the part that gets lost, right? We get caught up in the who, we get caught up in the when, and although it's not supposed to be about the abuser, it starts to be about the abuser more so than the actual victim, and the victim having the opportunity to find closure. So I want to speak to that for a second, because I also watched the documentary on Netflix, Abducted in Plain Sight, or something it's called like that. Did y'all watch that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I haven't gotten a chance to yet.
That one was crazy.
Crystal, when you get a chance, watch it. And even in that, the story was more so focused on the man, you know what I'm saying, the abductor, rather than the victim, even though the victim is in there telling, her side of the story and everything. And I think that's the part that gets lost in translation, because it becomes less about, well, you were the victim. What was it for you? How much are you willing to, and I get it. Everybody's different. Not everybody's going to be at the same comfort level to talk about it and release and divulge and stuff like that. I just feel like the victims don't get the proper attention, notoriety. They don't get the proper hands wrapped around them that they deserve. Same is true for serial killers. Those victims don't get the same type of attention that they deserve. It becomes about the serial killer, the mind of them, what they were thinking. So, I mean, yes, it is the court of public opinion, but we got to start, we really have to start really directing our attention in the proper way. If we gonna condemn the victimizers, or even if we're gonna cancel them, let them just go ahead and be canceled. But let's really just let the victims have their moment to shine. Now, I know the flip side of that is everybody gonna start calling themselves a victim, because they want the notoriety and attention. We just have to get better at sifting out those stories that are really, really true, actual stories, and not. Unfortunately, we live in a day and time where people will do whatever they have to do to get attention. We have to go back.
Jesse Smollett.
We have to go back to a day and time when journalists actually did their research before they printed a story, where they actually went out and got a credible source, some facts. Because we don't do those things anymore, people just come up and say whatever they want to say. We got to stop that. We got to stop that.
Well, we have, we have TMZ, who are always everywhere, always get the videotapes. We have Red Table Talk, the Smiths, our platform for, their family members and things. But we also have Words, Music, Dance, which you can watch every Wednesday on YouTube, listen to the audio on SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes. The platforms are here. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with both of you guys. See, I'm growing. I can agree to opinions, learning. But thank y'all for coming through once again. The conversation continues as well for everybody watching and listening. Share your thoughts. What do you think? Who you canceling? Whatever the hashtags you're going to put up.
Why are we canceling people? Why can't we stop canceling them?
That's what everybody do now.
I mean, have people started wearing Gucci again? I'm just asking.
Let me tell you something. I didn't stop.
So even T.I., when he said 3 months, it was like, fam, you really. So, but we're not gonna talk about Jussie yet. I know we're gonna definitely delve into that pretty soon because the story is coming to an end. Naya, you already know I text you from day one, like, yeah, it sounded a little shaky.
I mean, I just reserve judgment on everything. I've gotten to this place where I just listen, it go in one ear, right out the other. I don't have the energy, the capacity, the brain power to let a lot of this stuff sit on me. Some of it, yes, I will entertain it, but when that whole thing happened with him, yeah, I do have to say I raised the eyebrow and was like, okay, let's see how this plays out.
Subway, who is eating fresh at 2 a.m.?
Right, exactly.
Ooh.
Subway?
In
Really?
Chicago during a Arctic paradox or whatever it was called.
Negative 45 degrees outside.
That part. So, A, you going to Subway, okay? B, it's Arctic outside. It's below negative 40 degrees, and you going to get a sandwich? Yeah. So you mean to tell me you couldn't find nothing to Postmates, Seamless, Uber, DoorDash, what's that, GoPuff? All these new little things that you couldn't find nothing. Nobody could bring you no cup of noodles.
You don't got an assistant?
Hello? So your refrigerator is completely empty. You had to go get a nasty Subway sandwich at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm going to try to get the rights to the Jussie Smollett story. See if we can make that a 2021 Vision Productions. Get that on Netflix, Hulu. We might stream that on matter of fact, we're going to take it old school. We're going to get the bootleg DVDs you can only get at your local barbershop. That's how we're going to do with that, you know what I mean?
Bootleg DVDs?
We going to bring it back, you know what I mean? When I get the rights to the Jussie Smollett story, we going to
be a braid shop.
Huh?
And Brooklyn, there used to be a braid shop, and she used to play these videos. They was called Mad Clear videos. Shout out to Valerie, who took me to get my hair braided. And she'd be like, watch these Mad Clear videos. We're
going to get the Jussie Smollett story, and we're going to bring it back. But once again, ladies, thank y'all for coming through. I'm wrapping this up. I'll see y'all next week. Hey. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. Share it. Tell your friends about it. Let them know what's going on. Also, hit subscribe and the bell to be notified when new content is loaded, because there's much, much more to come.